Well, hello, ladies. You are listening to Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs. I am Kelsey Matheson, and this is episode number 49. So, how is business? I did not know what I wanted to talk about today, and I had an hour dedicated this afternoon to deciding what I was going to talk about, what I was going to cover today in this episode. And I found myself getting distracted. My staff were contacting me about a few things, and I was keeping my eye on the clock because I had to walk the dog before picking up my daughter from school. And then after school, she had a dentist appointment, and I also had a bunch of emails to send. And then there was this email automation that I'm creating, and I had to go over. And I had already designated time for all of those things, but my mind was just jumping. I was just thinking about all of the things that we juggle as busy women and as busy entrepreneurs. And I could tell, though, that this wasn't distraction because I needed to put out a bunch of fires. There wasn't anything that needed my immediate attention. This was just me being distracted because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about today. And I was kind of struggling because every time I thought about a topic, it just wasn't really landing. And I just wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go in. And truthfully, for me, that's a little strange because I can talk about entrepreneurship for days. I can talk about women in business and mindset and emotional and energetic blocks and manifestation. And I mean, the list goes on, right? I can talk about all of that and more until the cows come home, but nothing felt right. The topics that I kept thinking about, I just didn't feel inspired. Isn't that such a funny expression, until the cows come home? I don't know. I guess cows never come home. Who knew? Anyway, sorry, I digress. But I was feeling uninspired. And then I received a voice message from one of my clients. Now, this is one of my one-on-one clients, and we meet every Monday for our sessions. So I'm recording this on a Monday, and she's also part of my mastermind because all of my one-on-one clients get access to the mastermind. And she is a few hours behind me in her time zone. So when we meet, it's the afternoon on Monday for me, but it's the morning for her. And she loves starting her day and her week off with our one-on-one coaching calls. And she left me this message just a few hours after our coaching session today, and I transcribed it. So I'm going to read it to you. She said, "Hey, Kelsey, just thank you for such a fruitful meeting. I really just appreciate how you are able to meet me wherever I'm at with whatever I come in with. You just help to acknowledge whatever it is and then put me on a track of next steps. It is beyond helpful and exactly what I needed to get to the next step and level. And even though I was a little off this weekend, there is gratitude in the offness because I think it's an opportunity to really look at some of those deeper things. And I think as we figure out the nitty-gritty of my schedule and how I'm putting things out there, I think the mindset work and looking at the patterns of not enoughness that shows up in all areas is so valuable to look at with you at such a deeper level. And I want to report that, boy, have I been super productive since our meeting. Part of it was talking to you, and part of it was taking some time and space this weekend to frickin' stop. I have to remind myself of the benefits of stopping. Thank you so much." And that was her message. I mean, such an amazing message to receive. Am I right? Well, let me tell you, after listening to that, I got inspired. Right? I love the universe, or I love it when the universe, works its magic in this way. So I got super inspired after listening to her message. And I just loved what she said about finding the gratitude in the offness, right? Don't you love that? And it's something that actually her and I talked about. So let me give you a little bit of context, a little bit of behind the scenes. So last Monday, a week ago, when I met this client, she wanted help breaking down the schedule for her week ahead in order to get out some promotions for her upcoming retreat, and she's working on a new lead magnet, and she has a Facebook group that she wants to nurture. She has an email list that she sends an email out every week, and she had a bunch of other things that she wanted help with navigating kind of her schedule. And one of the reasons why she needed help with this is because it wasn't a regular week for her. She was also going to be visiting her aging parents, and she knew that, they were going to need her time and attention. One of the reasons why she was visiting them was to help them actually get a few things checked off their to-do list. So we broke down the week in a way where she felt it allowed her to authentically show up in whatever area of her life or business that she needed to in that moment, right? So we coached on some of the mindset stuff around that as well. And all of my one-on-one clients have daily access to me through voice memo. So it could be Messenger, it might be Voxer, it could be WhatsApp, but daily access, we can, voice memo each other back and forth. So near the end of last week, she had left me a message just kind of checking in and letting me know what she was able to accomplish and what she didn't get, checked off the list, so to speak. And we went back and forth via voice memo, just talking about the importance of celebrating what she did get done and just allowing herself that time to breathe and just be grateful for the time that she had with her parents as well, right? And just to look at the entire experience as a great big win and just take some time for herself this weekend after she got back to just be, right? So today, it's Monday, we met for our session and we regrouped. And during our call today, she mentioned that, during that week with her parents, she also took some time that she needed just to breathe, right? She took some afternoon naps, and that this weekend she did take that time to be grateful for what was accomplished instead of being freaked out or stressed out and of what wasn't getting done, right? So here's what I love about this. There's so much to love, but life is going to happen. There are times when we are going to have to step up and adult, and it's not related to our business, right? We will 100% get off track sometimes. That really is a big part of the entrepreneurial journey. The trick is using the time that we do get off track to slow down or to take a breath, just to take a minute. Because if you have the self-awareness to do that, then you'll be in a much better place to realign and get back on track. Right? I think taking these moments when life happens and we're thrown off course, I think those moments can actually help us more than we know. Right? So in the moment, it might feel like a train wreck, but if we're able to shift perspective, it can actually lead to more productivity. It can lead to more growth. It can lead to increased motivation even, right? But only if our mindset on this is in the right place. Because if you get off track, you could take the road of beating yourself up or feeling like a failure or falling into patterns of not enoughness, or recognize that it is a circumstance that is happening for you, not to you, and that everything is perfect. And the bump in the road could actually have more powerful benefits than if you had stayed on track in the first place. What if getting off track is exactly what your business needs? Now, I know our brains would prefer to have all those to-dos nicely checked off, especially if you're like me. Like, I'm telling you, I like lists. I like plans. I like checking everything off those lists. And when shit hits the fan and all of a sudden I've lost control of my list ticking, then my brain wants to panic. The only problem is that if we're stressed because life happens and, we're off course, right? Then we're smack dab in the middle of scarcity and fear, right? Panicking is not going to help anybody. And any decisions about your business moving forward will not lead you to where you want to go when they're based from a state of, fear and frustration. Like, imagine my client operating from that state, from fear and frustration and beating herself up and not enoughness, right? Like the visit with her parents would have gone very differently, I suspect. right? Probably full of more unnecessary, let's say, irritability or tension between her and her parents. I'm sure there would be a lot of shoulding all over herself that would have taken place, or maybe some sloppy and desperate action in her business, just trying to make up for what she wasn't able to do. Now, I mean, of course, I'm only speculating, but the benefits of getting off track and slowing down and taking a moment and breathing include getting a new and fresh perspective, include forcing us to regroup so that we're put in this position of having to shift and see things from a brand new light, or in a brand new light. Right? It helps us to get clear about next steps. It helps us to gain insight on what contributed to us getting off track in the first place. We're put in a position of having to focus on a new priority set. Now, this might be more, I mean, it might be easier, more easily said than done, right? I mean, it does take awareness, it takes practice. And of course, having a coach that can help you with this is incredibly helpful. So let me ask you this question. What can you be grateful about the last time you got off track? So I'm going to think about the last time you veered off course, you got off track, life happened, shit hit the fan, right? And maybe you were feeling a little stressed about it all. What can you be grateful for looking back at that situation? Right? Kind of what was the silver lining, I guess? What can you be grateful about that time you got off track? And maybe make it a recent event, right? So it's kind of fresh in your mind. But what can you be grateful for about it? All right. That is what I have for you today, my friends. I am super grateful for my client who left me that message today and inspired this episode. It was short but sweet, right? Next week is episode number 50. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that, right? And you know what? This is something that I cannot do without you. So thank you for listening. I'm so grateful for you tuning in and leaving me reviews and rating this show. Thank you so very much. Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. All right. Ciao for now.